When Jesus and Peter returned to the boat on that dark and stormy night where they were out water walking in Matthew 14, the text says the wind ceased, and those in the boat worshiped him, saying, "Truly, you are the Son of God." The point of the story is not that a man walked on the water, as fantastical as that is. The point of the story is that everyone in the boat came to worship the one who commands the waves. Clarity was born from chaos. This same truth shows up in Paul's testimony in 2 Corinthians 12, 7 through 10. This is the passage you're familiar with about the thorn in the flesh. Paul pleaded 3 times with God to remove the thorn in the flesh, much like the disciples, just get us out of this storm. The Lord's answer is profound. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in your weakness, whether it's a thorn in the flesh or a little boat on a dark and stormy night. You see, God did not remove the weakness. He redefined it. Weakness is not a liability to be eliminated. It is a platform for Christ's strength to be displayed. This truth turns the world's logic upside down. We boast in our abilities. Paul boasted in his need. We crave strength to prove ourselves. Paul rejoiced that Christ's strength was demonstrated through his insufficiency. This worldview is the paradox of grace. When we are weak, then we are strong. When we find ourselves in our little self-sufficient boats, God brings a storm to prove that we are not strong, but actually fragile jars of clay where we see that the surpassing power belongs to God and not to us. It's not because of us that we are surviving and living well in God's world, but it is because of Him. But I want to add one more link to this chain. That is the link of community. In Hebrews chapter 10, verses 24 and 25, we are told to stir one another up to loving good deeds. It reminds us that this kind of faith is not cultivated alone. You can do many things by yourself, but sanctification is not one of those things. We need others to stir us up, to encourage us, to remind us that storms are not signs of God's abandonment, but they're platforms, they're opportunities to worship. Community helps us to keep our eyes on Christ when the waves threaten to drown us. And so let us remember that self-reliance is what God is going to dismantle. And then He is going to teach us to step out of our strength onto the uncertain waves, this risky dependence that He's calling us to. The Christian life then is one long step out of the boat, and it is a lifetime of Jesus catching you. Where are you tempted to boast in your ability instead of resting in God's sufficiency? Where do you equate weakness with failure instead of an opportunity? What would it look like today to worship God instead of trying to control your life at every micro moment? God is not looking for strong performers. He is looking for dependent worshipers who know that His grace is sufficient and His strength is made perfect in our weaknesses.